This video is being provided to help teachers to enroll students in their courses if they have a non-Lil Sis class. So this will be using PowerSchool and Brightspace to upload your students. So the first thing you want to do is go to PowerSchool. And you want to go to Power Teacher. And I'm going to do this just for one of my classes. And then you want to go to Reports, Student Roster. Select your classes that you'd like to upload. So if you teach, for example, like I teach Principles of Engineering and Engineering Design, I'm going to do this just for Principles of Engineering students. So I'm going to do Principles of Engineering Semester 1, 1A, and Principles of Engineering, there we go, 3B. Last name, you need to add a column. So actually, I think their student ID is already there. You need to make sure student ID is there for yours. I may have added that previously, and then run report. Once that report runs, up in the upper right hand corner, you can click, go to report queue, select the latest one. That will download as an Excel sheet, so you want to open that. When that opens, it's going to look like this. And we need to get this information in a way that it fits nice and neatly into our spreadsheet. So the first thing you should do is click on the letter B. It highlights the entire column. Right click and click Insert. Now, go over to column A and highlight starting at the first name to the last name. And then go to Data, Text to Columns, Next, select comma, and Finish. And now you should have last name and first name and student ID. So once you do that, then you're going to go back to Brightspace, and in the Severna Park High School shared drive. So you're looking at this, so you're going to go to the Severna Park High School shared drive. You're going to go to Content, scroll down to Brightspace, Helpful Templates, CSV Template Sample. Select this, and it will download a new spreadsheet called CSV Template Example to your computer, which looks like this when you open it. So we want to get rid of things. There are things there now so that you can see an example of how it should look once you complete it. Okay, but we're going to delete all of this. Okay. And actually, before doing this, I'm going to go into my class. So I'm going to go into the class I want to import it into. I'm going to go to Class Tools, Course Admin, and I'm going to set up sections. So in order to make sure sections is activated in your class, the first thing that you would need to do is go to Course Offering Information and make sure that the box is checked here for Course Has Sections. If this is not checked, then you will not be able to put them into sections. So check that box and save. Next, go back to Class Tools, Course Administrator, Sections, and I have 4 sections there already. I'm going to create a sample section here. So I'm going to add a section because I've already enrolled my students. I'm going to just call it sample, all caps. So it's important to note how you name it because you're going to need that later. And I'm just going to call that sample add. And so now I will see that added to my list. And you can see that I have 0 students enrolled in sample. So once I have my students separated, then I want to go to the sample template, and it says org defined ID. So I want to go back and get the student ID and copy it and paste. I want to get the student's first name, copy it and paste. I want to get the student's last name, copy it and paste. And I want to get their email. So for email, what we're going to use is their student ID number at aacps.org. And no, you do not have to type that all out for all of your students. You're going to go to cell D2, and you're going to type equals A2 and the and sign, quote, at aacps.org. And what we just told Excel to do is to take whatever is in A2 and add to it at aacps.org. And there we go. So to copy that formula, just click and drag down, and it will do it for each section. This is where I said it was very important that you paid attention to your section names, and my section name was all caps sample. So it is going to be important that that you pay attention to what your section names are. So mine is sample, all caps. So I'm going to go here and type sample, all caps, has to be the same, and copy. For role, I want to put student, and copy that. And password, I can leave blank. So this is what that should look like. File, I'm going to save it as. I'm going to save it as sample POE. I'm going to just save it to my downloads so it's easy to find. Save. And then I am going to go to Manage Sections. I'm going to go back to Class Tools, Course Administrator. Class List. Add Participants button, and select Import Users from a file on your computer. Choose File. Select the file that you've just saved, open, and import. And those students have now been added. 9 users have been enrolled successfully. And to make sure this was done correctly, if I go back to my class list and I scroll down, you'll see that these people are enrolled. Okay. If I want to unenroll them, I can simply click here and then unenroll. Make sure you do not unenroll yourself, because yourself is going to be listed here. If you unenroll yourself, then you will not even be able to get into your own class. It won't even show up in your Brightspace waffle. And then you'll have to contact the Office of Instructional Technology. So make sure you don't ever do this and unenroll, because then you're going to unenroll yourself. To make sure that they're in the correct sections, we can go back to Class Tools, Course Administration, click on Sections, and you'll see that I have 9 people added to Sample. If I want to see who is in that group, I can click Sample, and then Enroll Users. And if I needed to unenroll a student, let's say they dropped my class or they got moved on their schedule to Mr. Bernstein instead of my class, then I could deselect this check mark. and move them to a different section. If I want to show all of my sections, so let's say a student starts the school year in my 1A class, but then they move to my sample class, or they start in my sample class, but they get moved to my 1A. So I would just deselect here, reselect here, and hit save. So that's really quite simple, easy way. So you would have to go here to make sure you can see all of your sections. But if you ever want to see just one section, you can select one section and be able to see all of the students who are in that section. Okay. Excellent. One other thing. So if a student, let's say Mr. Bernstein has a student who is in Principles of Engineering, and they are getting their schedule switched in the first couple of weeks of school, and they get moved to my class. Well, I can go through this whole process, but if it's just one or two students or three students that I need to add, there's another really easy way to add students to your roster. So you go to Class Tools, Course Administration, Class List, and then it gives you the ability right here to add participants, add existing users. That means anyone who's already in the computer system with Severna Park High School, so any student. And then I can search for that student. So let's say it was Fletcher Port, and I wanted to find him, enroll, and then select the magnifying glass, and it will locate all of the people with Port in their name. And the easiest way to find him in this long list is just to hit Control F and type Fletcher. Port, Control F, Fletcher. So you can see there, and it takes me right to it. Highlight it. I can select here, select the role as student, and select the section and put him in a section. So that's the way that you would add a student individually. Okay, hopefully this has helped you. You can do more than one section for the same class at a time. So you'll notice here that I had just one section of students that I was putting in. But if I wanted to do all of my sections of a class, then I just need to make sure that for the students that are in like section 1A, that this says, so I might name this like at semester 1, 1A POE. And then I might name, so if all of those students are in semester 1, 1A POE, and these students are in semester 1, 2A POE, then I just need to make sure that I have that section there, and that those sections are named that in the previous screen where I created section names, that I've named them exactly as that, and then it will take each of these students and put them in the appropriate section. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to any of your Brightspace champions at Severna Park High School. Thank you.